And then there was the amplified review. Welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly of the Elimination Chamber 2025. The rules are simple. Every single match will get a tally in one of these categories: the good, bad, or ugly. At any moment for any segment, any match, or any part of this show, we can put tallies in any of these categories. At the end of this review, we will accumulate all tallies in every category, and we will find out if this was a good pay-per-view premium live event or a bad premium live event. Now, there is a catch. You want to stay away from that ugly column. Every single tally that goes into that ugly column will transfer into two bads at the end of this review. Obviously, that will greatly change or affect the outcome of this event being good or bad. So you want to stay away from the ugly column. That will turn into two bads apiece when we do the final count. Those are the rules. There is two big chamber matchups. A grudge match with Sami and KO, and a women's tag match. There's The Rock wanting Cody's soul. Sell your soul to The Rock. That will also obviously get at least one tally in one of these categories. The only thing left to do is to rock out this review. Amplified style. Grab your beverages, your coffee, sit back, max, relax while BC drops the facts and we talk all things Elimination Chamber. Was it good? Was it bad? Was it downright ugly? Was it great? Do we have to make a great column? Swig of coffee, opening signature, come right on back. It's time to do the deed. 44 dive, we rollin'. Let's do this. We started off with a women's chamber match. Liv Morgan and Naomi kicking this match off, or at least in theory. Bayley, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Roxy in their respective pods. Before the match can even kick off, the lights go out. Jade Cargill's music kicks in. Sure enough, it is Jade Cargill coming to that ring, total beast mode. Muscles on top of muscles like she just spent the last 2 months just pumping iron. Jade Cargill storming to the ring. Liv Morgan almost pissing her booty shorts, pleading, "It wasn't me," nearly in tears. As Jade Cargill does not cut stride, continues to storm to the ring, full steam ahead. At the last second, as Jade is about to cock back to absolutely deliver a monster shot to Liv Morgan, Jade changes course and starts a brutal beating on Naomi, bashing Naomi repeatedly over the dome piece, rights, lefts, bashing her through the pods, multiple pods. Naomi being beat down right in front of Belair. The way this was done was so good. This was so well done. This beating taking place right in Bianca, but realistically, it makes sense because Belair's locked in her pod at the time. Remember, this was right before the match was kicking off. Belair's locked in a pod. Belair cannot attend to her friends, not save Naomi, and not try to talk some sense into Jade Cargill. What are you doing? If you follow this channel for any length of time, you know I put larger-than-life characters and epic storytelling, storylines, above anything else, even the technical wrestling aspect. We had story being told in a realistic realm. And it was so beautifully done. This beating is transpiring right in front of Bianca, but Bianca's having a meltdown. Nearly in tears as she pleads, as she watches her friends implode. One of her friends literally being beaten to the point where she has to be stretchered off. This was so well done. Belair locked in her pod. She couldn't even help her friends. Naomi subsequently stretchered off. Just a great way for Naomi to save face in defeat because she was nearly immediately declared ineligible to continue. She was, in fact, eliminated. Like Squid Games. Naomi was second to start. Player 2, you have been eliminated. And that's such a badass way to get eliminated. That is going to be a headline. Did you see Naomi and Jade's segment? Instead of Naomi just getting pinned, another L for Naomi, another big moment where she doesn't get any shine. I just thought so much is benefited from all of this. There's no detriment to any of this. It was so well done. So from the jump, before we even kick this match off, that goes into the good column. Now we go into the match itself. Belair is in at number 3 to face Morgan. I like this because she is an emotional wreck at this point. She's got to not just go about business, but she's next in. I mean, there's still superstars in their pods, so she has to go the distance still. She's basically kicking it off because we didn't have a kickoff yet. Naomi was supposed to win Morgan. She got bashed, so it's really like Belair is the first 2. Belair in at number 3. If there's overcoming the odds and the obstacles, Belair's going to have to do that from here on out in this match. Number 4 was Roxy, number 5 Bayley, and number 6 Alexa Bliss. There was no more eliminations until all the rest of the ladies were in this matchup and rocking. Morgan straight up pins Bayley clean via Oblivion. Bayley ate this one clean. She did the deed for Liv Morgan. Alexa Bliss then pins Roxy. This was straight up, nothing over the top. Roxanne Perez just ate this one. The commentators tried to pump it up like Roxy made it deep into the match. She did all right for sure. The way that they've been trying to pump her up on commentary the last few weeks, I thought she was going to do something really special in the chamber, like they had some big things planned, but nothing really big, and Bliss just kind of takes out Roxy. Morgan then pins Alexa Bliss. And then this just leaves Belair and Morgan. I do feel like with all of the... And it did suck, by the way, to see Bliss get pinned the way that she did, but Alexa Bliss was like holding on to the braid of Belair. It was a pretty unique way to go out. Nothing over the top. All of these pins, all of these eliminations were pretty straightforward. So it did suck to see Alexa go out, but I like Alexa pinning Roxy. Still establishes something there with Alexa and Roxy. So a little side note. But with the final 2, I do feel with everything that's been going down, the title change recently with Raquel and Liv winning those titles, the story with Jade, the whodunit, thinking it's Liv and Raquel, but clearly Jade believes it's Naomi and maybe even has some evidence on that. It just has to come down to Belair and Morgan, you kind of felt. And that's exactly what happened. Belair would overcome all the obstacles, all of the challenges from just at the beginning of the match. And she would KOD, a devastating KOD to Liv Morgan. There was no way Morgan was getting out of that. You could have counted to 33. And Morgan was looking up at the lights. 1, 2, 3, though. And the winner of this match, going to WrestleMania to face Rhea Ripley. They're building this up like EO because they have their match on Monday night. I really hope they don't make this a triple threat, but it's kind of clear that's the direction they're going. And we're going to be seeing too many multi-person schmaz matches as it is. But just do it straight up, man. 3's a crowd, too many multi-person schmaz matches. It muddies the waters. It's not needed. And I love EO. But I just don't see how she even fit into this equation. Getting a match, she didn't win the Rumble. She didn't win the Chamber, not even in it. And she gets a title match. It's just weird. I love EO, but I want things to make sense. I mean, these competitors are busting their ass trying to win a Rumble. 29 other females they have to face just to win the Rumble. Or this diabolical structure of the Chamber. with 5 other individuals, and Io's just waltzing in. But Bianca Belair wins this match, and she's going to take on Rhea Ripley up front. We don't see Io winning that championship, but there is probably going to be a schmaz. Bottom line, Bianca wins. Bianca's going to Mania. And at the end, just to cement what I've just been talking about, Bianca goes up to the ramp after some pyro goes off. Rhea comes out. Rhea's standing right behind her. They have a face-off. And then Io comes out as well, looking at both of them. So that's what I mean. You're probably going to get a schmaz. It's not needed. But I'm sure the ladies will rock out no matter what. Listen, guys, was the chamber the most devastating I've ever seen? Ladies or dudes? No, absolutely not. This chamber match had some moments. Liv Morgan got one of the biggest hair whips I've ever seen. And I thought Sasha Banks was going to have the loudest. WrestleMania, Bianca versus Sasha, and Sasha took that whipping from the hair braid. But, man, I think Liv Morgan now has the record for the loudest. She's going to be feeling that probably until next year's Elimination Chamber. So there was that moment. The whole match is going to be overshadowed. The biggest headline from Jade and Naomi, and I'm fine with that. That was such a badass way to kick off a premium live event. That's a premium moment. That is a premium segment and a premium headline from a match. It just is. When I think pay-per-view, premium live event, a special event, it's those type of moments. And Bianca winning this, I know a lot of people are not going to like that decision. Bianca's had her time, this, that, and the other thing. But as I said, I like the story aspect of everything. And you look at the roller coaster that Bianca had to endure during this whole thing. I can speak. More coffee, BC. The roller coaster that she had to get through from the start and watching her friends implode and not even being able to do anything. And then when your friend is ushered off, your other friend is stretchered off, you're left there with your pot opening up. Oh yeah, go have a match now with everybody else because you got your hands full. And somehow she overcomes the odds. The story itself garners this. A good tally. So for the pre-match activity and that storyline coming full circle, or just getting started maybe. A storyline in general in WWE, I'll take it. And then the match itself, because of how it culminated and how the story, at least for this night, comes full circle, there's no way that could go anywhere else. So the first match, the chamber match for the ladies, nothing over the top in terms of wild maneuvers being done, wild risks being taken. Nothing like that. This was just storytelling. Sold. Match number 1, the Women's Chamber in the books. Simplistic in tone, and sometimes simplistic is all you need. It's the fundamentals of pro wrestling. Very well done, ladies. Very well done booking for everybody that had a part in it. That's right. Some positivity over to the booking team. Whether it's Helmsley, a Road Dogg, a P.S. Hayes, a Christopher Pritchard, who knows? Maybe Charlie Flair is dabbing into behind-the-scenes creative. It was well done. We start this event. 2 goods, 0 bad, 0 ugly. That's the most important thing. I probably could have put the Jade Cargill thing as a great, which would be 2 goods, by the way, just like an ugly is 2 bads. I probably could have done that. But I think giving this a straight up W, a straight up tally in the good column in totality is just as good. 2 goods in the first matchup. I think that's pretty damn fair. More coffee? We get into match number 2. This was the women's tag team match. So this was a very dominant hour and a half straight up of women action. This was Nia Jax, Candy LeRae versus Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus. So match 2, Stratton and Stratus versus Candy LeRae, Nia Jax. I'm indifferent on this matchup. It's nothing that's going to be a wow factor. It's not going to be a headline the next day, not with 2 chamber matchups, an unsanctioned matchup, and Rock and Cody Rhodes. This is easily going to be lost in the shuffle. It's a nice downer match from one of the chamber matches, which is where this was placed. But for BC, seeing Trish Stratus, somebody I absolutely put on a pedestal from back in the day, and somebody I already put on a pedestal from today's wrestling crop, Tiffany Stratton, it's pretty cool to see them together. But I'm indifferent on this. This was not good, per se. It subsequently was not bad. So I really go to what did they have for the finish, and they just had Tiffany pin Nia Jax clean. That's big. And that is what's going to tip the scale to good. This will go into the good. I'm not throwing a mulligan. I'm not just being extra generous. It wasn't really good. It wasn't really bad. It has to go into a category. It wasn't ugly by any means. It was what it was supposed to be. Trish Stratus in Canada. Bringing the old with the new. Tiffany and Stratus together beating a couple of heels. This was always supposed to be a moment for the faces, a moment for Canada. You could have saw this at a house show in Canada. You could have saw this at a PLE. It ended up being a PLE. I'm not going to bash it. There's nothing. I don't want to go in circles. It wasn't necessarily good. It wasn't bad. Tiffany beat Jax clean. That's big. Those are the victories Tiffany needs on PLEs for anybody to remember any part of this title reign. Because unfortunately, and I really hope this is not all just to drop that title to Charlie next month at WrestleMania, but unfortunately, I think we all know what the outcome is going to be next month. And I think we all know that Tiffany's looking up at the lights dropping that championship. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For this event, for that match, I'm indifferent. Tiffany got the clean W. It's the right call. Faces get to... They get to pose for the live crowd in Canada, and Trish has her special moment. Anytime I get to see Trish, I'm always down with that. So there you go. It's not a mulligan, but if anybody looks at it as a mulligan, a give me, there you go. That's the only one I'm going to give you in this event. Match number 2. We'll put that into the good column. So the first one got 2 goods, not a great, which equals 2 separate goods. For match number 1, Jade really tipping the scale over there. And then match number 2, we're going to put it into the good. There just wasn't any ugly and there wasn't enough bad. Tiffany wins clean. I feel like I'm saying the same thing 10 different times. I have nothing else to say about the match, so let's move on to the third matchup. This is the first time I think this has ever happened in good, the bad, and the ugly history of doing these reviews on this channel. I don't think this has ever happened. Where going in to this review, this match, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, unsanctioned, this was going into the ugly column, guys. This was getting 2 automatic bads. We were putting a tally into the ugly column based on the booking alone. If you're newer to the channel, if you're just stopping by and you're wondering, BC, what are you talking about, man? It's KO and Sami. They always produce a badass matchup. Yes, they do. But what I told you earlier for the Elimination Chamber and Jade Cargill and Bianca winning, right? Story, larger than life characters and storylines that captivate us. That means more to me than anything else. The wrestling, as wild as this may sound, is the icing on the cake. And for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, the truth is, guys, they've ran out of story. So we're just getting them thrown together whenever Hunter doesn't have anything or whenever they're in Canada. And that no longer suits well for BC. I need more story to get behind it. You guys don't have to look any further than this past storyline the last month. What's it all about? Kevin Owens is pissed off at Sami because Sami attended to Roman Reigns when he was injured at the Rumble, but he didn't look after Kevin, so Kevin thought Sami was being a bad friend. Guys, that was 50% of all of their 97 feuds over the past 10 years plus, just in WWE/NXT. So all I'm saying is just give us, if you're going to keep going back to Owens and Zayn, all I'm asking for is interesting, new, fresh, organic storylines. I'm not asking for much. Now, I understand a lot of today's fans don't care. You look at Canada, and of course, this is an exception because they just went all out. We'll talk about it, what they did tonight with this event in their matchup. But you look at these crowds and they're just willing to yell, "This is awesome," and just love every second of it and forget the fact that there's no real, or you're just recycling the same story, right? A lot of fans are just willing to accept that and not really raise the bar, raise their standard. BC's not willing to lower that bar, not even for Owens and not even for Zayn. Guys, if we're going to see these two for the next 5 years, 10 years, it's going to take more for BC. I know a lot of you guys are going to say something like, or along the lines of, "I don't even care. As long as we're getting Zayn versus Owens for the next 5 years, I'm cool with it." And maybe that's fine for you. That's all you need is them two in the ring and just watch them go to war and yell, "This is awesome." That's cool. I'm not even bashing that. But just don't be shocked that there are fans like BC that wants an interesting story, because we have to get to that match, right? We just had to spend a month of them just going back and forth on the microphone talking about how they're not good friends to each other anymore. It's so bad. I've seen this so many times between these two. It's just the same recycled, and it's Canada, so we gotta have the match in Canada. It's just played out. But my point is, I'm just telling you that we're making history right now, because going into this, and I don't change my mind when I know that the booking is just bad. You want to get the KO and Sami, that's cool. I know they'll put on a war and put on a show, but just give us more of a story. Give us more fun than just they're not good friends to one another. We already know that. They've known that over 10 years ago when Kevin Owens first powerbombed Sami Zayn on the ring apron in NXT. We already knew that friendship was fractured. And then we saw it subsequently 86 more times over 10 years. So going into this event, guys, all of that spiel is just to let you know that was going into the ugly column. No ifs, no ands, or buts. I was convinced there's nothing they're going to do that's going to change my mind on this. It's going into the ugly. And then they put on the show. Now, straight up, I'm not backing any of those words out of this edit. It's not being edited. All of those words remain true. I still feel the same way, even more so. If I'm going to see them, I still need a kick-ass storyline. Because to get to the match, we still need all of those shows where they're going to be yapping on the microphone, and all I'm going to hear is Charlie Brown or wah, 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 wah. I'm not going to be hearing anything because I've already heard it before. So I remain true in those words. But what they did tonight at Elimination Chamber, man, was that a show. And it was booked beautifully. They gave them nearly 40 minutes with the Orton return. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But they gave this 35 plus minutes. This was a bulk of the show. They let everything breathe. They gave KO and Sami the time that they needed. They went nearly 30 minutes, 28 to be exact. And this is the... before I even go over this, I'm going to tell you where I'm putting this. Because it was getting two bads. It was going into an ugly. One tally in the ugly later that would turn into two bads. That is going from an automatic ugly to a great right now. That gets a great, which is two goods automatically. That's what they did tonight. Now, I'm counting the Randy Orton return, which I'm going to get to in a minute, guys. I'm counting the entire match, how it was presented, how it was booked, Orton's return, Orton looking beast, Orton going savage, all of that together in a combination great, which is two goods. So we're now at 5-0-0 on the board, and that's after 3 matchups. So let me tell you how I came to that conclusion. Again, I absolutely stand by every word I just said. I need more because I want the story to match what they do in the ring at the pay-per-view premium live event. But what they did tonight, first of all, WWE, they made it feel special, or at least tried to, right? They covered up all the WWE logos on the turnbuckles. Loved it. Lights were dimmed, but not to a distracting level. They dimmed it up. Did I feel like I should have a glass of wine and a filet mignon? Because I was at dinner and a show? Maybe at times. But it wasn't overdone. Lights were dimmed. First referee had a regular polo, I believe, and some gloves on. So they really wanted to let you know and make it feel like it's unsanctioned. Interestingly enough, that referee was taken out pretty early on in this fight. And he remained knocked out on the outside the entire 28 minutes. That's impressive. I don't even know if he moved, But he was there at the end of this whole thing. It was pretty wild. And then another referee came in with an actual promo. Or polo promo. The referees start cutting promos. Then maybe we have a fun storyline going. So they made it feel special, did all they could to do such. These two, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, went through roughly 41 tables, slight exaggeration. Owens takes a blue thunder bomb into barbed wire chairs. They fight into the crowd, going through more tables. And the highlight for me, I don't need anything you find at Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't need the tables, ladders, chairs. I don't need any of that. Barbed wire. What was cool was they actually had at the end of this fight, Kevin Owens did a pop-up power bomb to Sami Zayn on the ring apron. And it just takes you back to what I just aforementioned over 10 years ago, NXT, when Kevin Owens first turned on Sami and delivered a pop-up power bomb. And I remember that in NXT, and it was so beautifully done. And that's when NXT was really rocking, by the way. And just to end this, because moments later, Sami Zayn was pinned 1, 2, 3. That was it. Kevin Owens wins this thing. Owens, the ultimate winner. And that was at, again, the 28-minute mark off of basically that pop-up power bomb. I don't know. I can't remember if recall if there was another move or two right after, but it was that pop-up power bomb where Michael Cole was really selling it. Old school Jim Ross. He's got a family. Damn it, kids. He's got kids. So they're pumping it up. And Owens wins this thing. It was wild. It absolutely was. And I've never said that they don't produce that. I'm saying we need more captivating, interesting, fresh stories between the two if you're going to continue to have them facing each other for the next 5 years, maybe even 10 years. I understand. I'm with you. Every time they get in the ring, it's good. But we have to do the month, maybe sometimes 2 months of storytelling. And it just can't be the same thing. But this, wow, that was wildly entertaining. Wildly. And it wasn't even done. You have the scene afterwards with the... I just love the scene afterwards with the lights still dimmed and the medics were kind of checking on Sami Zayn. And there was all these medics and the crowd. Canada's really like into it and really like... giving Kevin Owens the heat, and all these officials are trying to like separate Owens from Zayn while the medics are... I just loved all of that, man. The look of it was just a moment, you know? And then Owens refuses to leave. He starts taking out some of the security, which is just local wrestling talent, guys, not actual security. But he starts taking them out. He starts ripping up the concrete mat, and he wants to powerbomb Sami Zayn on the concrete. Until Voices starts rocking over the loudspeaker through the arena. Randy Orton's theme. Sure enough, Randy Orton through the curtain. Orton returns. So on the night that Jade Cargill returns, so does Randall Orton. Owens does not back down. Owens doesn't run. Owens gets right in that ring, starts punching himself. He's nearly in tears, screaming at Orton, "Get in, come on, let's go." It was awesome. Orton punches himself a few times, gets pumped up, amplified, jumps in the ring. Here we go. RKO drops Kevin Owens. He goes to hit him with a chair, but Orton throws away the chair, says no. Instead, he's going for the old school legend killer punt. But enough officials are able to stop him. Security stops him. This pisses off Orton. Orton goes absolutely rogue and starts just RKOing any single body around him. The last security guard goes, "Oh," and Randy actually stopped. Put out his hand. Security guy's like, "All right, hey, man, I'm Chuck." Boom. Randy's like, "Nah, dude." Boom, RKO. It was really hot, man. It was awesome. The crowd was hot. The segment was hot. The booking to this was just beautifully done. And whether it's Hunter's creativity or not, I don't even care. He had the approval of it, so he gets the credit as well. Same thing I say to keep it fair, right? When we rip these shows apart because they suck or the segments don't make sense, none of it makes sense. The talent is frustrated. Fans are frustrated because it all sucks. It doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. But when it's done beautifully, you got to give the credit. And that's what we do on this channel. We are always fair. And up until this point, man, the booking, I've just really enjoyed it to this point. Could they keep that momentum going? We'll see. We'll talk about it. But up to this point, Randy Orton's just the way it all went down, and that's why for the first time ever in reviewing these shows like we do, the good, the bad, and the ugly, we went into this matchup with an automatic ugly, 2 bads it was going to turn into. And instead of getting that ugly, they convinced BC to flip it, and it got a great, which is 2 goods. No ugly. I mean, that's the first time that's ever happened in channel history, man. So I thought that was pretty cool. I did not expect that. I wasn't even convinced I was going to do that until probably the last several minutes of the match itself. It was definitely before Randy came out. So, yeah, probably had a lot to say about that, but that was one of the biggest points of this event, man. A lot happened, and we needed to take several minutes to really talk about it. That's what this review is all about. That's what this channel is all about. Giving you guys the amplified truth, dropping an amplified honesty, raising our bars, hoping it gets met. What they did in that ring tonight, sanctioned or not sanctioned, it met that for sure. Now we just have to have the storylines kind of meet us up there as well. So can we keep this momentum going? 3 matches in, we're going into the 4th match. Believe it or not, they're going to save Cody and Rock. So they're going to go into the men's elimination chamber match. Would end up being next. This was swig of coffee. You know what? Swig of coffee or a couple swigs. And then we're going to talk about it. 5-0-0 on the board. What did the men's chamber match produce? Let's talk about it. So the 4th and final match of this card. Only 4 matchups. The main event reserved for Cody Rhodes and The Rock. The men's elimination chamber match. This was fun throughout. And it was nothing over the top. If you look at the individuals in this matchup, John Cena, CM Punk, their prime days well behind them. So they're not going to be jumping off any cages. Seth Rollins is banged up over the years. He's not doing too much daredevil risks. And Drew McIntyre and Damien Priest, that's just not their style. That leaves Logan Paul. He did a couple 2-tree things, but nothing over the top. This was straight up, just going on star power. Seth and Mac start this off. Priest is 3rd, Logan 4th, Punk in at 5, and CM Punk's pod door would open final at 6th. Priest pins Mac with a hold him down pinfall. Basically a roll-up. Just holding Mac down. Priest pins Mac. Mac eliminated first. The whole word we were getting is Drew McIntyre was penciled in to win this whole thing. We actually did an upload on that because I wanted to drive home the point that you should not be going Mac, and I like Mac, but that's not the marquee matchup. You've already got Jey Uso and Gunther. That's odd enough. You can't just throw Mac in there with Cody. That's not putting asses in the seats. That's not bringing casuals to WrestleMania. It sucks to say that because I respect Mac so much and I want the best possible booking. But you have to book him properly to get him to those moments. I really tried to press that point, and thankfully WWE heard that. Or maybe this was just to throw people off the beaten path, right? Throw everybody off the path, and he's the first one eliminated. I thought that was wild the way that he was eliminated. I'll hold him down. Moments later, Logan Paul pins Priest. Then Logan Paul is eliminated by CM Punk's GTS. Punk, Cena, and Rollins were the final 3. They went the bulk of this matchup. They were in there for a while with one another, especially Punk and Cena. Punk was kicking out of an attitude adjustment, a pedigree, a stomp. CM Punk was taking a whooping and kept getting up, kept kicking out. Pretty badass. Rollins catapults Cena through a pod door, and this would allow Rollins to get the better of of CM Punk. But CM Punk finally, after all these years, hit one of his best Macho Man elbows to regain control. It couldn't have come at a better time. His top rope elbows are rough, but damn, he chose now to hit his best elbow, and that gave him the upper hand on Rollins. Punk then eliminates Rollins, a combo GTS with an attitude adjustment from Cena, and then Punk pins Rollins. Rollins is gone. It's now Punk. It's now Cena. Cena kicks out of a GTS. Moments later, Punk kicks out of an attitude adjustment. It's anybody's game. Rollins comes back out of nowhere after being eliminated, delivers a stomp. Delivers a stomp to CM Punk. Cena doesn't want to do it, but he knows his better days are behind him. This is his last chance to main event a Mania, go for a title, number 17, capture Ric Flair's record that he's tied with. So he went for it, even though Punk was knocked out. He locked in the STF. He locked in that submission. Punk was passed out. Ref calls for the bell. Jonathan Cena wins the chamber. Jonathan Cena, with the pyro going off, is on his way to WrestleMania. John Cena on his way to WrestleMania. On one hand, this was all fun. I mean, Punk, Cena, no matter what, you take a step back, you take your critic hat, you take that part of what I do, and you just be a straight up fan, and you just hope that you're feeling something. And that's what I did. That's why I say this was fun. And that's why no matter what I'm about to say, that goes into the good column. There's no question. That's 6-0-0. I'm not done. We got The Rock and Cody still. Wow, I can't believe what I just witnessed, guys, but full transparency, I've been doing these match reviews immediately after the matches concluded, because I know there's about 10, maybe even 15 minutes of filler in between matchups, especially when there's only 5 announced things on this card, and sure enough, a lot of ads, a lot of filler, so I've been able to do all these reviews in between matchups. And I say this because I literally just witnessed the conclusion to this show, The Rock wanting his answer from Cody Rhodes, and John Cena. By now, you guys know exactly what happened. John Cena turns heel after all of this time. With only a few months left in his career, John Cena sold his soul to Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Canada, chanting, "You sold out." He definitely sold his soul to The Rock. I'm still trying to comprehend all this, man. It was goosebumps the way this was done. This was absolutely brilliant. I can't tell you that John Cena turning heel in his last few months is on my bingo card, or that I would need to see that. But I am along for the ride if this is the type of... If this is what The Rock and his personal writer, Brian Gerwitz, with Hunter in the mix, or at least knowing about what they want to do, if this is what we're going to get, I mean, it's better than face Cena versus face Cody, which makes no sense. I can't... So what are we talking about, right? Maybe you guys didn't actually see the event. You want to know the events that transpired, and then my thoughts. Cena just won, as we just went over. Cena wins the men's chamber. Cody Rhodes comes out to congratulate him, stick his hand out, shake hands. The Rock comes out with, I believe, Travis Scott, the rapper. I believe that's his name, Travis Scott. It goes with The Rock, too. They look pretty badass coming out of that curtain, down that aisle. It looks pretty badass. Cena stays in the ring as Cody or Rock says, it's time. It's time, Cody. Basically, now is where you give me your answer. You say yes, you get it all. If you say no, your dream is over. Everything. For the last time, your dream is over. So Cody tells Rock, I already sold my soul. I gave up my soul. But I'm not giving it to you. I gave it up to this ring, to these people. So he looks at Rock and he says, Rock, go f*** yourself. And he drops it too. Rock can get away. Everybody can get away with it in WWE because The Rock says so, right? Rock will pay that fine. BC's not so fortunate on the tube. But he laid it out, man. He told The Rock to literally unbeeped out, go fuck yourself. That was wild. And that did not go over well with The Rock. Cena was laughing. Cena's like, dude, Rock took a few steps back. And Cody takes an awkward step because Cody kind of felt something was off. The Rock took a few steps back and he knows that Cena's behind him. So Cody positioned himself to look at Cena too, almost like he didn't trust him at first. But Cena was playing it off, laughing at The Rock. Like, oh, he told you, man. He told you off. So Cody kind of believed in or trusted Cena again. Goes over to Cena and goes, you, me, Mania. Shakes Cena's hand, wants to forget about The Rock. You're done. I'm done with your shit. So he shakes Cena's hand. And this is all no notes, guys. I literally just all apologies if I'm kind of all over the place. I just witnessed it. There's no notes in front of me. Nothing on the laptop. No pen to paper that I have what just transpired. So I'm trying to go back as I remember it just moments ago because there was a lot going on. So he shakes hands with Cena, with The Rock behind him pissed off. And Cena shakes his hand. They go in for one of those bro hugs. And Cena's staring at Rock. Rock's face changes. Cena's face absolutely just cold. And The Rock just says, that's it. Blows the kiss. And Cena's face is like, he just sold the soul to The Rock. And Cena separates from the bro hug and absolutely just kicks Cody Rhodes. Low blow, kicks Cody Rhodes in the balls. Cody drops like a ton of bricks right where he stood. John Cena grabs the Rolex, that gold Rolex, uses it like brass knuckles and absolutely drops Cody Rhodes. And then he delivers one of the most vicious title shots to the dome piece I've ever seen or heard. Knocks Cody down, busts him open, sets him up again for a second title shot to the dome piece, microphone to the dome piece. And then Rock gets that weightlifting belt that had his pops in the day that he passed, Dusty Rhodes, that weight belt that Rock had custom made for Cody, and he just starts whipping Cody Rhodes. Travis Scott is spraying. he's spraying Cody and himself the whole time while he's smoking. For some reason, Travis Scott fit, and I hope that's correct. Travis Scott, right? It fit with The Rock, and I mean that trio just fit, man. It was working. And he was playing his role. This Travis Scott, whatever his name is, he looked like he was in pro wrestling for a decade plus. I mean, he was just really good in there, playing it off beautifully. The Rock just cold Cena. We always wondered for years, what would it have been? Would it have been like this? Probably not. Probably much different, but it looks like he wanted to try this out in his and it's just so weird because you want to see him collect 17, but to do it as a heel, I think that does take some of the magic and some of that just some of that. Man, I don't. I'm trying to comprehend it, guys. I don't know. Cena winning 17 as a face would just be one of those celebrational moments where now winning it and beating Cody, you're gonna have a lot of pissed off fans, especially those kids that dragged out their parents. I don't know. I'm future booking. I mean, do they even give the title to Jonathan Cena? I'm guessing with The Rock in his corner and who knows who else. I think that's how Cena is gonna get it. So maybe that's a way for Cody to save face. I'm still stunned that they went this direction. Some people are thinking Punk sells his soul to The Rock. That would make no sense. Punk is getting good reactions. Punk's a top face that's going to be there much more than Cena is. There's no reason to turn that dude heel. Cena, I didn't think there was a reason either, but the way that was done, that was like the Hulk Hogan moment, Bash at the Beach from many moons ago when Hogan joined NWO. I'm not putting it right in that category, but that's this day's version of that. I'm surprised Canada didn't start throwing trash. Maybe it's against the law in that country, I don't know. Here in the States, there's enough of us that just don't give a damn. Probably disrespectful and probably trashy to do, no pun intended. But we'd start throwing trash like the NWO segment. I'm sorry, that's the only thing this moment was missing. Trash being thrown in as they yell, "You sold out." Fans were legit pissed, shocked. John Cena aligns himself, the ultimate Hollywood alliance, with The Rock. John Cena, of all people, sells his soul. He wants it all. Cena always knew he was going to be in the shadows of The Rock in that legendary movie career. Now Cena gets to have it all with The Rock. I could be on board with this story, man. I still got goosebumps from what I just witnessed because it was done so beautifully. So I don't even know where I am post-edit with the so it was 4 matchups. Right, 4 matchups. They all got, I believe I put goods in all of that, correct? In the men's chamber, I also put a good in. Nothing great, but I did put a good in that. So that would be 6-0, correct? So this was great. This 7 and 8. That gets 2 goods. This was absolutely great. Maybe I should give it 2 greats, but I still don't know how I feel about Cena as a heel. I still want to see where they go with this, especially with Cena working limited dates. Maybe he gives a little bit of an uptick going to Mania because it's just next month. But just stunning, man. So for now, I am going to give it 1 great, but at least it's a great. I didn't think this Rock Cody segment was going to get a great. There was a chance it was going to go off the rails. Nothing meaningful. Kind of stupid. And it ruined what was actually a really good premium live event, but that's not what happened. It just made one of the biggest moments of the decade. I know we're only 5 years into it. We still have another half a decade. This one, when this decade is done, this will be one of those transcending moments. Of the last 10 years, this is easily one of the biggest moments in pro wrestling history, even though it's Cena's last year. This is, to see him aligned with The Rock to take out that baby. And Cody just became even more of the beating that he took became way more of a baby face than he's ever been. So anybody thinking or hoping that Cody will turn heel soon, it ain't going to happen now. He going to get cheered like you have never seen before. Cody Rhodes' stock has just skyrocketed. It's going to be interesting to see what The Rock has planned booking-wise, because The Rock and Brian Gerwitz are holding it down for the booking here. Hunter Hearst Helmsley is just going to have to be along for the ride with the pen just to approve it. Not like The Rock needs it. But he'll fill him in on what's going on. But The Rock and Brian Gerwitz, they got the creative pens now. And Cena's going to be along with it. This is wild, man. Cena just turned heel, man, moments ago. I still got goosebumps. This has been wild. Who would have thought, out of nowhere, when Mania season was just flat, Hunter was botching everything, anything and everything that he put his hands on or paid attention to, it was getting botched. And here we are, man. We needed a night like tonight, man. I still think I know there's going to be random matches thrown together last minute, schmaz matches like the tag team division, all the tag teams in the one. U.S. title might have 2 or 3 people going for it. You might get Io and Rhea going against Bianca, who knows? There's going to be a lot of schmaz matches, a lot of rushed last minute matches added to Mania. But at least I can say after tonight, at least for tonight, it feels like it's WrestleMania season. Even if only for a night, I'm going to hold on to that feeling, brah. It feels like Mania season. This was a really good, 8-0, I believe, is the board. 8-0-0. Just a really good PLE pay-per-view. Jade Cargill returns. What a beating on Naomi. What a moment. Randy Orton returns, takes everybody out with an RKO, including KO. What a moment for Orton. The Rock returns. John Cena turns heel. John Cena with a dastardly way to beat Punk. Some would look at that as heelish, but then he kicked it into overdrive. What an event. 800 is your board. My channel members will be getting this really late. I understand that. Everybody else, you'll be getting this very early. Maybe Sunday morning for everybody that's not a channel member. I appreciate you guys very much. If you guys did catch it, I hope you enjoyed it more than anything. I hope you were captivated by the event because BC was more than he was not. And I haven't been able to say that in a while. I hope this is one of those events that carries momentum. I hope this puts everybody on the right track. Fans can start to feel something again for WrestleMania. I'm hoping that the talents will start to feel better backstage and not feel frustrated that they don't know what they are. They feel that Hunter is all over the place because that's been the reports. Hopefully an event like this, sometimes it just takes that one thing to get that train back on the track. That's what we're hoping for because we need more nights like this. And this is why I'm such a harsh critic in this community. It's because I know what we're capable of, guys. And that's why I keep my bar and my standard up here. And I don't want to lower them because I don't want to accept bullshit. I don't want to. I'm not going to. When you keep your bar up here, you get nights like this. And I thank you guys for hanging with BC through all the bullshit, through all the trashy shows and the nonsensical booking and all of it to get to nights like this. Because nights like this is why we fell in love with professional wrestling. That is your good, the bad, and the ugly of the Chamber 2025. Damn, I have to comprehend all this. I have to take it all in, man, over another cup of coffee. Until next time, there will be that next time. BC in the unit. 44 dive, that's a wrap. We're saying check you. Salud.